Right now at 5, the man accused of shooting 7 people in downtown La Crosse makes a court appearance.
You're watching WKBT La Crosse. This is News 8 Now at 5.
Good evening, everyone, and thanks for joining us for News 8 Now at 5. I'm Ken Kozarowski. We are going to have to go retro style for the next couple of minutes as the prompter is down, so excuse us while we look down to reference our scripts. But our top story today, the man accused of opening fire in downtown La Crosse over the weekend made an initial court appearance via Zoom today. News 8 Now's Dua Israr was at court where a judge read off a long list of charges for the 31-year-old DeAndrew Grant, and there are quite a lot of them. I will hand my script off to Dua, who will be at our BAM monitor in just a second. All right, let's take it.
All right. Ken Grant faces 27 counts of felonies, each one punishable by tens of thousands of dollars and several years in prison. According to the criminal complaint, around 1:47 that morning, Grant was outside La Crosse Beer House talking to several people. Investigators say cameras downtown show Grant gets into an altercation with one person outside of Press Break. Shortly after, the report says Grant's vehicle drove down 3rd Street in the wrong direction. Police say the driver was using his left hand to drive the vehicle while his right hand fired a handgun out the driver's window towards Polito's Pizzeria. At least 7 victims were shot. Grant now faces 27 different counts of felonies.
Counts 1 through 6 are all separate charges of attempted first-degree intentional homicide with use of a weapon.
Counts 7 through 11 are substantial battery with intent to cause bodily harm while using a weapon. Counts 12 through 26 are first-degree recklessly endangering safety while use of a dangerous weapon, and count 27 is possession of firearm by a convicted out-of-state felon. Grant is being held in La Crosse County Jail on a $1 million cash bond. Ken?
All right, Dua, thanks very much, and thanks for rolling with the punches. Grant will be back in court next Wednesday.
Well, it sure was a very hot and steamy day today across the Coulee region as high temperatures were well into the low 90s in many spots and lots of sunshine here today as well. I do also want to let you know that an air quality alert is in effect mainly for our western communities until 9 p.m. tomorrow night. That's because the ozone will be polluted near the surface, causing that unhealthy condition for those sensitive groups. Let's get checked now on your zone forecast tonight. Low temperatures will be into the 60s, 61 in West Salem, 65 tonight in Berry Mills. As we head south tonight in Stoddard, 64 will be your temperature, 60 in Westby, and 58 in Lafarge, so a little cooler to the east. Lows tonight, 50s and 60s in the central zone, 61 in Whitehall, 65 tonight in Winona, and 62 in Osseo. Meanwhile, in the Chippewa Valley, you're looking at lows into those low to mid 60s with 65 and some passing clouds tonight in Eau Claire. 8 to 8 forecast showing that we will be going from the 70s and 80s here this evening down to the 70s and 60s as we head into overnight and also into early tomorrow morning under mostly clear skies.
And as Derek alluded to, an air quality alert is in effect for the entire state of Wisconsin now and a majority of Minnesota. The National Weather Service is warning those who may have sensitive respiratory systems to stay inside and reduce your time spent outside. NWS says the current weather conditions combined with the wildfire smoke from Canada are increasing ozone concentrations. And the alert is in place until 11 at night on Friday. Today, Governor Evers hosted a bill signing at Hamburg Hills Farm in Stoddard. Senate Bill 247 is going to expand the local roads improvement program, making agricultural road improvements eligible for millions of funding from state aid programs. State Senator Brad Pfaff and Representative Nancy Vandermeer were also in the crowd of local officials.
This bill also focuses on economic development for agriculture. And as you're aware, agriculture as an industry is in the top 2 of the state of Wisconsin. In fact, it's nearly $105 billion industry.
A lot of the local roads linked to farms are going to get a lot of TLC potentially as a result of this bill and its funding. Now, Wisconsin Act 13 also specifies requirements for projects to receive funding under this program. A heads up for drivers who pass through La Crosse's south side these days. A portion of South Avenue will be closed starting tomorrow at 7 p.m. The closure is going to be in place around the railroad tracks near the intersection of Green Bay Street. Crews will be working on the railroad crossing. There will be detours posted using Jackson Street and Losey Boulevard. The closure is expected to end on Monday at 6 a.m. The Isle La Plume wastewater treatment plant in the city of La Crosse is getting an upgrade. The plant is 2 years into a renovation project and held a tour today to show the progress. The changes are meant to make the plant more sustainable and also make the plant compliant to new DNR regulations. There are other benefits included, like longevity, that came along with these upgrades.
It's good for 20 years to move us into the future, and I think we're going to be in a good place.
The project has a $65 million budget, but Greeno said spending is expected to stay under that amount. The renovations are set to be completed by the end of 2024. The La Crosse Center board is recommending the city continue to manage the La Crosse Center. Board members made the recommendation at their latest meeting this week. Longtime coordinator Art Fay's retirement motivated the board to search for a private management company to potentially run the venue. After a year-long study, the board's president says privatization of the center just doesn't make sense at this time.
In studying and looking at some of the proposals that we got from the other groups, we weren't convinced that A, they were going to be any more profitable or any more efficient for the center, and B, because, you know, this place is being, we think, on a run. We're doing well, and there doesn't seem to be the reason for a change at this point in time.
Now, there also likely won't be a direct replacement for the role Art Fay held. That is still being worked out in terms of a leadership restructure. Some of the projects the board also oversees is the Pearl Street Walkway, which is slated to be finished in September. House Republicans are claiming the Department of Justice is operating under a two-tier system, one for Democrats and a much harsher one for Republicans. Today, the special counsel chosen by President Trump's Attorney General to report on the FBI's investigation of Trump's 2016 campaign was on Capitol Hill to testify about what he found. Skylar Henry has the details.
Special counsel John Durham told lawmakers the FBI acted too quickly, launching its probe of Trump's 2016 presidential campaign and possible ties to Russia.
The FBI was too willing to accept and use politically funded and uncorroborated opposition research, such as the Steele dossier.
Democrats say Durham spent almost 4 years and more than $6 million investigating the FBI with nothing to show for it.
You only filed 3 criminal cases. You only brought 2 cases to trial, correct?
Correct.
And you lost all the cases you brought to trial, correct?
Correct.
And the one conviction that you obtained, the defendant pleaded guilty to a single count and never went to trial, correct?
Correct.
But Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz accused Durham of tanking his own investigation.
I think that John Durham has been part of inoculating the deep state. I think he's in on it. I think he's part of the cover-up.
Most Republican lawmakers used the hearing to accuse President Biden of weaponizing the DOJ and FBI to attack his political opponents. They pointed to the plea deal for Hunter Biden. The president's son plans to plead guilty to 2 tax charges and will likely receive probation, versus the criminal case being brought against former President Trump for his handling of government records.
Now we have an indictment of a former president who's winning in every single poll by his opponent's Justice Department.
The White House denies those claims, saying the DOJ acts independently. And they also point out that the U.S. attorney prosecuting Hunter Biden was appointed by former President Trump. Skylar Henry, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
A judge still has to sign off on Hunter Biden's plea deal to make it official, while federal judge Aileen Cannon has set an August 14th trial date for the Trump case. Most expect Trump's lawyers to ask for more time to prepare their case. Just ahead tonight, sounds of life. Rescue efforts are reportedly hearing banging sounds likely coming from the missing submersible that was on its trip to the Titanic. But pinpointing the submersible's location is still a problem.
Thank you for watching News 8 Now. Expect more.
Coast Guard officials say efforts to locate underwater noises that may be connected to the submersible missing since Sunday have so far yielded negative results, but added there is still reason to be hopeful. Roxana Saberi is in Boston with the expanding search for the vessel and the 5 people on board.
The U.S. Coast Guard says crews looking for the missing Titan vessel are racing to pinpoint the source of underwater sounds detected in the search zone.
We need to have hope, right? But I can't tell you what the noises are. But what I can tell you is, and I think this is the most important point, we're searching where the noises are, and that's all we can do at this point.
Coast Guard officials said they could not confirm reports that banging sounds were detected 30 minutes apart, something that was giving hope to friends of Titanic expert Paul-Henri Nargeolet, one of the 5 people on board.
P.H. Nargeolet would do something like that to keep so let people know that they're there.
The submersible is owned by the company OceanGate. It was on its way to visit the wreckage of the Titanic on Sunday when it went missing.
3 more vessels arrived on scene on Wednesday to help with the search, including one that has side-scanning sonar capabilities.
We currently have 5 surface assets searching for the Titan, and we expect 10 total surface assets to search in the next 24 to 48 hours.
Once located, retrieving the submersible in time presents another challenge, with oxygen expected to run out by Thursday morning.
Part of my mind was going, well, this could be the end.
The Simpsons writer Mike Reiss took the underwater trip almost a year ago and says passengers know the dangers.
You sign this long waiver that mentions possible death 3 times on the first page.
The Coast Guard says data about the noises has been shared with U.S. Navy experts for more analysis. Roxana Saberi, CBS News, Boston.
Now, according to a 2018 court filing, a former OceanGate employee said he was fired after voicing concerns about the Titan, saying it posed potential danger to passengers. But in documents filed in April, OceanGate said the vessel was capable of diving the depth to the Titanic site with a comfortable safety margin. Coming up, in addition to virtual reality that'll let you feel, a VR bodysuit is apparently on the way, but its practical applications could go far beyond simple fun and games.
Sure was a hot day today across the area. I'll let you know here coming up in my full forecast if more of the same can be expected throughout the week. All that more in just a bit. We'll be right back. Air quality alerts here continue across portions of the Coulee region. However, this is mainly in effect for our western zones until 9 p.m. tomorrow night, and that's because the ozone will be polluted near the surface still, causing that unhealthy condition for the sensitive groups. So if you happen to fall into the sensitive group category, make sure that you limit yourself outside, spend more time inside as well. Here's a check on your zone forecast for tonight in La Crosse County. We're talking about the low to mid 60s here, and as we head south into Viroqua, we're looking at clear skies, temperatures at 63 for you, 65 in La Crescent, and 61 down south in Steuben. Meanwhile, as we move into our central zone tonight, we're looking at lows into the 50s and 60s with 55 Black River Falls, 60 in Blair, and 64 will be your temperature if you're in Trempealeau. In the north zone tonight in the Chippewa Valley, low temperatures here mainly into the 60s as well. In fact, Eau Claire, you're looking at 65 degrees with a few passing clouds here tonight to work with. So overall tonight in La Crosse County, the forecast calls for 65 degrees, mostly clear skies and slightly warm as far as our temperatures go. As we head into the day tomorrow, it's going to be much hotter, high of 93. Partly cloudy skies and wind speeds looking light and variable. Now, we mentioned that it's going to be pretty hot tomorrow. In fact, check out the zone forecast for La Crosse County. Low 90s in many spots out there. And as we head south, looking pretty warm tomorrow in Soldiers Grove with that high of 91, 93 La Crescent, 90 Black River Falls, 90 in Sparta tomorrow, and a high of 90 in Whitehall. And as we head into the Chippewa Valley, upper 80s to low 90s here for you with just a mix of sun and clouds. As we head into overnight tonight, just looking at mostly clear skies, a few clouds could develop, but other than that, conditions remain quiet, and we are expected to see more of the same pattern take shape as we head into the day tomorrow with just a few clouds as high pressure continues to dominate our weather pattern here for the most part. And as we head into tomorrow evening, we are going to be looking at just mainly clear weather conditions for us to work with. So this quiet pattern is expected to last. Unfortunately, so will the hot and dry air mass along with it, as long as this high pressure ridge is still in control of our weather pattern, which, by the way, isn't going away anytime anytime soon. This is going all the way until Friday, and you can still see that we're going to be underneath this ridging pattern here. However, I have some good news, and that is that ridging pattern is going to begin to weaken because we're expected to see this upper level low take shape moving in from the northwest from Canada, and that should help erode the ridge here a little bit to allow our temperatures to cool down, because that system is also going to bring us a cold front, and that's going to also bring us a chance of thunderstorms to work with Saturday night into Sunday. And then after that storm system moves out, our highs drop into the 80s, low to mid 80s that is, as we head into the first half of next week, which is a little bit more average or typical for this time of the year in terms of those high temperatures. Meanwhile, lows mainly into the 60s. Back to you.
Derek, thanks very much. And just to add on to Derek's weather segment there, an air quality alert is in effect for the entire state of Wisconsin and a majority of Minnesota. The National Weather Service is warning those who may have sensitive respiratory systems to stay inside and reduce time spent outside. NWS says the current weather conditions combined with that wildfire smoke from Canada are increasing ozone concentrations. And that alert is in place until 11 p.m. on Friday. The scorching temps are inviting many of us to spend time indoors with maybe a favorite show, book, or maybe even a virtual reality game. Well, VR could soon feel a lot more real thanks to a new bodysuit that's in the works that adds the sense of touch. As Christian Benavides reports, the suit could also serve another purpose.
Exploring virtual reality may soon include suiting up. This full VR bodysuit comes complete with soft robotic muscles, meaning you'll be able to feel what you see.
So something that we integrated is that you can let a bird land on your hand and feel it because the muscles are contracting on the suit.
The so-called MetaSuit is the creation of students at the Swiss Federal Institute of Technology. Its purpose, to create a natural feeling for users in order to interact with VR environments like the metaverse.
You're in an entirely other environment. You could be on Mars and you feel something and it feels real.
The artificial muscles, called hazels, are actually pouches filled with a special fluid that can expand or contract with a tiny electric current.
These hazels are quite similar to human muscle. And this is also a reason why we use them, because to have a natural feeling when using hazels muscles on the suit.
Developers say in addition to VR, the technology could allow film directors to better map an actor's movement or even help someone suffering from Parkinson's keep walking.
Okay, that Saturn is way too big. Needs to come back down, please.
And with VR technology already being used in some classrooms, this bodysuit could make those lessons even more immersive. Christian Benavides, CBS News, Miami.
Fascinating stuff. Developers say they're looking at other potential applications of the technology that might enhance our well-being. When we come back tonight at 5, residents at the Bethany St. Joseph Care Center had some special guests today. We'll showcase them all right after this. Welcome back. Residents at the Bethany St. Joseph Care Center are getting a dose of farm life without the chance to experience it without leaving La Crosse. They got a visit today from Haven's Petting Farm for some animal therapy. The event today featuring some chickens, rabbits, goats, and even a zebra made its way in. Organizers say an event like this offers a fun and necessary change of pace.
Fun morning, something different for the residents than your average rec program. So I guess that's why we always are looking for new and different things to provide the residents.
And coordinators from Bethany St. Joseph say that pet therapy is a program that the volunteers enjoy just as much as the residents. And Allison Dairyland stopped by the Toma VA Medical Center's June Dairy Day celebration this afternoon. The event started in 2008 and took a small break during COVID, of course, but is in full force this year. Inpatient veterans had a chance to reminisce with their fellow veterans while enjoying some live music, a variety of pet therapy, animals, and livestock. Medical Center officials say it's an afternoon that everyone looks forward to.
It's a great event where veterans get together. It's a gathering where they can be outside amongst other veterans, really enjoy the nice, beautiful weather we're having underneath the trees, so it's nice and shady. It just brings them back to a sense of spirit and happiness.
Organizers say they enjoy embracing Wisconsin's heritage and honoring veterans at the same time. Derek's going to have one more check of our forecast when we come back. We're out of time. Thank you for watching.